to check to see that I'm live on YouTube. It has been a hot minute since I have been live on YouTube, so let me just take a look here and see. Alright, I see that I am live. Let me make sure my sound is off. There we go. Okay, now let me zoom in a little bit. I knew that YouTube had different settings here than what I'm used to. So let me see if I can get it to zoom how I need it to zoom. And then we will get started, okay? So let me see. Zoom out just a little bit more, please. There we go. I think that's pretty good. Let me slide this over a little bit here, and then we ought to be pretty close to where we need to be. Okay, I can put this up a bit higher now, so that's good. All right. Hello, everybody. Hi, Miss Carol. How are you doing, sweetheart? Didn't I just see you a moment ago? I think I did. We had our team meeting this evening, and Miss Carol and I have jumped from one location to another. Okay, hi Miss Marlene, Wisconsin in the house. All right. Okay, friends, if you would, I would love for you to share my video here on your Facebook or social media pages. Let's see if we can get a full crowd tonight. Your pumpkin pie is gone. Did it taste better than it looked, Carol? Hi, Jean. You're looking forward to all the days. That's wonderful. I'm so glad to have you here. Let me make sure that I have a little something to sip on in case my throat gets dry. There we go. Good. I'm glad to hear that it tasted good. I mean, you really can't go wrong with pumpkin pie, but I kind of wondered a little about that one. All right. Wow. Well, hello, everybody. Thanks so much for coming in. Today was and still is free shipping on all $75 or more orders. So you still have some time to get in on that free shipping for your order. And you can shop at danasullivan.stampinup.net. And this is my host code for this week. So if you see anything that you like here that I'm using, you can still shop online and get free shipping with every order of $75 or more. So, and on top of that, if you do take advantage of that free shipping order, I'm going to send you an extra gift as well. So, yay! Halloween trick or treat! Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. I don't want to wait too long. If other folks come in, they can say hello. All right, so this is day 2 of the 13 days of Halloween treats. Let me bring in my sign. 13 days of Halloween treats with the Stampin' Chick live on YouTube. You know what? I love Halloween, if you couldn't tell. And one of the reasons why I love Halloween, and it's the dumbest thing ever, but it's so cute and it's funny, is the Count from Sesame Street. I love the Count. I love it. So cute. All right. Anyway, it was kind of cheesy, but you know what? That's okay. It makes me smile, and hopefully it makes you smile too. All right. Today is day 2 of the 13 days of Halloween treats. Let me set this aside for just a moment, and we are going to get started with today's project. So today is actually featuring a super cute little treat bag holder. I don't know if you noticed these in the holiday catalog, but these are in this catalog right here, July, December 2022. And let me just grab the page right quick, 35. is where you would find these. They're right here. Now, this is really cute because, as you can see in the book, they did not make Halloween themed projects out of it. It's a super cute little, what is this, little seal here. I love the way that that looks, but I really like Halloween too. So we're going to turn this into a Halloween treat holder, and I'm going to show you how. All right. Okay, so what you need is obviously the package of these little starry treat bags. Now these are really thick. I mean, they are fabulous little treat bags. There's a little speck of paper inside there. Anyway, they are really nice and sturdy. I mean, it's a really good little bag. And I can tell you the measurements of the bag are... Uh-oh, it says that I'm frozen? Am I frozen? Uh-oh. All right, it says the measurements for the bag are 3.5 inches by 2 inches by about 5.25 inches. So it's a pretty decent sized little bag too. Okay, we have our little bag here. And I've got a few little supplies that I'm also going to be bringing in. So this is Daffodil Delight cardstock. It measures 3 3/8 by 5 inches. I have a piece of basic white cardstock that measures 2 3/4 by 2 7/8 inch. I have Parakeet Party cardstock, which would have been 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 inch square. This is die cut with the second largest of the layering circles dies. Okay, so that's the second largest. And then this piece would be a 3 by 3 inch square. It's die cut with the second largest stylish shapes dies. And then I have a little scrap of basic white cardstock that was punched with the Label Me Fancy punch. Okay, so this is going to be for our sentiment. We are also going to need some of the adhesive backed seasonal sequins. Now, if you can believe it, these purple sequins actually started out white. So they're these iridescent white type sequins, which would look really pretty all on their own. But I love that little pop of purple, don't you? Okay, so I'll show you how I did that here in just a bit. All right, and then I have some Stampin Blends that I'm going to be using to color my little witch. All right, so I have soft suede, basic black. Let me grab them out here. Uh-oh, I dropped one. All right, I've got soft suede, light and dark, basic black, light and dark, petal pink, light petal pink for her face and hands. This is the color that I'm using for her flesh tone. Of course, if you have any of the flesh tone Stampin' Blends, you could certainly use them, and she could be any shade of the colors there. And then we've got pumpkin pie and parakeet party, Highland heather, and then light and dark Daffodil Delight, which I have dropped my Daffodil Delight. There we go. All right. So I know this looks like a lot, but it's just because I like to add little bits of shading and highlight too. So you can use whatever you have on hand. All right. Okay, let me set this stuff aside here for just a moment. And I'm going to start out by stamping my little witch, and I will color her in. So I'm going to set these things aside for just a moment. And while I'm doing my stamping, I'll also go ahead and stamp my sentiment. And I'm going to be using the Best Witches stamp set. It doesn't have dies, so we would have to fussy cut the little witch, but honestly, she's not so hard to do, okay? So I'm going to pull this out, and you put a spell on me. That reminds me of Hocus Pocus. Have you guys seen Hocus Pocus 2 yet? Oh my goodness. That is 30 years in the making, isn't it? Well, 29 technically, I guess. But we watched it the other day and it was so cute. I love it. All right, I'm going to use toe ink for both of these things. So I'm going to just tap, 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 not smush, smush, smush to get the ink on the stamp. You can check it, of course, to make sure that it's all fully colored. A nice little light tapping is all that's required. You don't need to smush it down in or rock and roll or anything like that. Let me see if I can get it relatively centered. Man, not too bad. Okay, and then our little witchy, she is so cute. And it was so much fun to color too. This would be a great thing to do for your grandkids or your children to be able to, let's see, which side did I go? There we go. To be able to stamp a bunch of these for them and let them color them in. I mean, this would entertain them for a while. Okay, when I'm coloring, I like to have something underneath so that the colors don't bleed through to the finish on my table. So we'll go ahead and get started, and I'm going to start kind of from the bottom up. It really does not matter which way you go. I'm going to use light and dark soft suede, and I'm going to start with the dark just because that's the way I like to do it, but certainly you could go however you like to color your things in. Feel free to do that, okay? There is no real right or wrong answer to this. Okay, I've just put in a few little shaded spots on my logs, and then I'm going to come in with the light soft suede and color in everything else and go over the top of what I've already colored in dark and kind of blend it in, okay? So it gives us a little bit of depth and dimension to our color, okay? Now I'm going to come in with the the basic black, and I'm going to do a similar thing with the cauldron here. So I'm just going to come along the areas where it would have the darker shading, so down here around the bottom of the cauldron and kind of working my way up, and then a little bit right there on the side, and then get the lighter color and color it in. Okay, now I will tell you, I am not a Stampin' Blends pro by any means. Most of you have heard me say that a time or 10, but that's the wonderful thing about Stampin' Blends is that you don't have to be a coloring pro to get a reasonably good looking project. Okay? All right, now for the flames, we've got Daffodil Delight and Light Dark Pumpkin Pie, and for whatever reason that it is, I always like to start with my darkest colors first. I think it's because, you know, when they say to start out with the lighter colors, they say cover the whole thing with the light color, bring your darker in and make your shading areas, and then cover over it again with the lighter color. And I think that's an extra step I don't have to do, and I'm kind of a lazy colorer. So I don't want to go to all that trouble, and I also don't want to oversaturate my cardstock because I'm not using watercolor paper. I'm just using regular basic white cardstock, right? So I want it to be not quite saturated through, so I don't want it to leak through, and I don't want it to bleed and all of that good stuff. So anyway, here we are. All right, I'm just going step by step through each of the layers of color. So I started out with the dark pumpkin pie, and then moved on to the light pumpkin pie, and then dark Daffodil Delight, and now I'm topping it off with the light Daffodil Delight, and now you can see my flames have that fabulous color to them. Okay, I don't know if you can see that all right or not, but there it is. Okay, now then, I like the idea of my little bubbles here being a potion that's kind of bubbling up out of the cauldron. So I'm just going to put a few little dots of the light parakeet party to give it kind of a creepy potion vibe, right? Okay, I'm going to move on to her body now, and I'm going to take that light petal pink and just some quick little brushes of color on her hand. Again, I am not too techy with all this, so I'm just adding color. Alright, now I'm going to add in a bit of color around her ear, and then across the top of her head where the brim meets. This is to give me a little bit of shadow for when I go back over it, okay? I'm going to come down the side just a little bit. There we go. That's good. And then I'm going to take the brush tip and I'm going to go over the whole thing. That way it's a little bit lighter on the bottom than it is on the top. Now I cannot stress this enough. This is just the way I do it. It is certainly not the end-all be-all of how it should be done. But it works for me and I like it, okay? All right, now it's time to color this girl up. I'm going to do a little bit of hair. And my little girl's going to be blonde here. There's no particular reason for that. I'm not blonde, but this girl is. So we're going to give her a little bit of swoop and swipe with the dark Daffodil Delight. There we go. And then color her hair in with the light Daffodil Delight. So just give it a little bit of color there. And a little bit of color over here. There we go. Very nice. All right. Now then, I want to do, let's see. I'm going to do Highland Heather for her dress. And I'm putting the dark where I think there might be shadows. Okay, so she's leaned over her dress, so I think that there's shadowing right here under her chin for sure. And down the front of her dress a little bit because she's leaned forward, right? And then probably under her arms is a little bit of shadow. And then right here under her cape surely is as well, right? So I'll just go like that. And I'm coloring in little swirly motions. You can tell I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure here. And I'm not coloring in straight lines, because I want the color to blend in nicely. Alright, so now I'm going to come in with the light Highland Heather, and I'm going to go over everything I've just colored. All of that dark stuff, I'm just going to blend it right in, and you'll be able to see where the light color is kind of lifting the dark just a little bit to smooth it out and give it a nice transition. Okay? And we'll just keep kind of working it in here. And I'm turning my paper just to make it a little bit easier for me to reach and see, and for you to be able to see what I'm doing. I'm trying to keep my hands out of the way as much as I can. Alright, there we go. Okay, now we've got that done. Let's go to the Parakeet Party. And again, I'm starting with the dark, and I'm going to just go where I think the shadows are. So right here along the edge and the underside of this, if this were a layer of dress, then I imagine that part would be darker than the rest of it. And then because we've got such a little spot here, I'm just going to use the bullet tip and color the rest of it in with the light. Okay. Remember, you're blending in your dark and your lights together, just like that. Okay, now I also want to do her hat band because it'd be really nice for her outfit to match. She's quite the stylish little witch. So I'll put a little bit of color, and I'm going to leave the center there for the lighter shade so that it kind of looks like it's got a little bit of a sheen to it, you know. Maybe it's a satin ribbon that goes around her hat. Okay, so come around. There we go. Just like that. And then again with the lighter color over the whole thing to blend it in. There we go. Across both sides. And then this whole section here. There we go. Fabulous. All right, now let's see. We've done the purple. Oh, I need to do the dark Daffodil Delight for the gold buckle here. Let me just put that on there. And for this one, I'm not going to use the light daffodil for highlighting. I'll just go back over the parts that I think should be a little bit darker. So that's another thing that you can do with the Stampin' Blends. You can use the same marker and let it dry for just a second and then come back in and add just a little more color to the spots that you want shaded, and it gives you a little bit of a shading look too. So that's pretty cool. All right, now I'm going to bring my basic black back in, and I'm going to do her hat, her cape, and her little stockings. All right, so again with the darker shade, right where I think all of the shadow is. So we'll go down her feet. I'm going to use the bullet tip for this one again because her feet are pretty tiny. There we go. She's a dainty little witch. All right. And then again with the dark, this time I'm going to come under the cape, out to the edge. I'll leave just that there. And then I'm going to come under her head and kind of work my way down just like that. Okay. And then grab the light again. Finish filling it in. There you go. Just like so. Pretty cute. All right, now, again with the brim of the hat, all of the places where we might see just a little bit of shading. Okay, and then bringing in the lighter one. Here we go. And we're almost finished with our little witch. Let's go ahead and add a bit of dark to the top of her hat. All these little folds and creases, I think they're probably shaded up just a bit. There we go. I tell you, I would love to take a coloring class from somebody like Patty Bennett or, gosh, who else does a really great job? Jay and Barry over in the UK. I mean, they're all just absolutely amazing. My friend Rick, they just do a fantastic job. All the details, it's absolutely gorgeous. All right, now that my little witch is done, I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut around her because we don't have a die for this, and because I'm not going to make you sit and watch me do that while you've just sat and watched me do all of that coloring. I'll say bling, 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 magic, magic, what does it go, bibbity, bobbity, boo. And we have our die cut or a fussy cut witch ready to go. All right, so let me scoot those out of the way. Bring all of our pieces back in. And now we're going to assemble our bag. So we're going to take our Daffodil Delight layer here, and I'm going to add a little bit of glue around the outer edges of it. And I'm also going to be very, very careful about taking my liquid glue and just kind of coasting in between some of those stars. It doesn't have to be a lot, okay? Just a teeny, teeny, tiny little bit. So I'm looking for the glue to come to the tip, and then I'm running it along in here, so it's just making like a little snail trail. It is not adding a bunch of glue. It's a tiny, tiny little snail trail that's going to make the piece stick to the whole front instead of just around the edges. Okay, so now that I've got that done, I'm going to come around the edges of my paper here and very lightly, nice thin layer of glue just around the edges, come inside, and I'm going to lean my paper out so that it doesn't touch anything yet. And push it all the way down and then stick it to the inside. Okay, I'm going to finagle my hands in here and get my bone folder in here and really crease that down. Okay, and by adding just that little bit of glue to the inside of the bag, we're making it attach a little more right here, okay? So that was the point of all that, was to get it to attach to all the spots on the bag. There we go. Nice. All right, now then, I can attach the stitch circle, the stylish shaped circle, directly to my scalloped circle here. So I'll use my Stampin' Seal for that. And there we go. And then I'm going to put my little witchy on dimensionals. So let me grab some of those. 1, 2, 3, all right, that was enough. And let me just cut that in half, and I'm going to put one on each side of her face. I really just don't want her to collapse down, right? Okay, pushing all of the backs down pretty good so I can peel them off. Here we go. And then she's gonna go right like this. Love it. Okay, now then, I want to take some of my adhesive runner and I'm just going to come across like this, right there in the middle of the bag. And this is how much? About 14 inches of the metallic mesh ribbon. And I'm going to zigzag across the bag. So like that and like that. Okay. Finagle with it just a little bit, however you want to. There we go. And I'll put this piece on dimensionals, so that's how we'll attach it to the bag. Okay, and there we go. And now I'm offsetting this just slightly because I want to make room for that label. And if I were to put this in the center and then put the label on, it would actually look like it was off. That's one of those power of persuasion things. So we'll put it just a little offset, and then I think I put 2 layers of dimension here. Yes, I did. Not the bottom, I meant the top. There we go. Yes. Okay, so as I have my sentiment here, I've got the dimensionals nearer to the top, and I'm going to double layer them so that they pop just up above the witch. You know, that's the wonderful thing about these 3D projects. You can put as many layers of dimensionals as you want to. You don't have to worry about sticking it in an envelope. Okay, now then, I'll tuck it just under the edge a tiny, tiny bit. And there we go. All right, and see how it just kind of lines it back up a bit. All right, now then, we need to take our white sequins here, and I'm going to bring my handy dandy scrap paper and the dark Highland Heather, and I'm going to use my brush tip very gently, okay? Don't grind it in, you'll ruin your tip. But just give it a light brush stroke over the top of the sequin, just like that. And you can see how the color soaks up beautifully. Okay, so I've got it about as dark as I want it there. And then I'm going to grab 2 of the little ones here, so we'll do those up as well. There we go. And we're going to give those just a hot second, and while we have the marker out, I'm going to bring in 18 inches of the white organza, what is it, glittered organdy ribbon. That's it. It's the white glittered organdy ribbon. And you're going to love this. Look at the ribbon here. It's beautiful purple, and you can still see the sparkles in it. That's what we're about to do, my friends, and it is fantastic. So let's take this, and I'm gonna just ink it up. I'm being very light-handed with it because the ink will just soak right into it. So you don't have to put any pressure at all, and it helps keep your tips nice and ready for you to color with them later, okay? So nice and easy, just brushing the side of the brush tip along the ribbon. And if you keep brushing, of course, it's going to get darker and darker and darker. So you can do it however dark you want to. Okay. Now, unfortunately for you, you have to watch me do this one because I don't have one pre-done. But it doesn't take long, so that's good. Here we go. I love that when this color's over, it still leaves the sequins intact and they've got that really nice green shimmer to them. I think that's fantastic. All right, you can see here it just does not take long, and it's not going to take very long to dry either because alcohol markers dry fast. All right, so that's a wonderful thing about this little trick. You can do any of the colors. Now, you know what else might be really cute with this one would be to do a striped effect of pumpkin pie, the parakeet party, and the Highland Heather. That might be really fun. But we'll keep it simple for this one. And maybe I'll grab a scrap here in a second if you want to see what it would look like striped. I'd be curious now that I think about it. Get these thoughts in my head and my mind runs wild, friends. All right, there we go. And we're good. So we'll give it just a second. Now, the casualty of this is that, yes, you will color your fingers because for the hot second that you're holding on to it, it will bleed onto your finger. But that's okay because it does dry on your finger. And you'll be able to wash it off, but that's not going to transfer, so you don't have to worry about that either. All right, now then, I have put a bag of gummy candy corn because my girl loves candy corn, and I don't know if we've ever had the gummy ones. I found these at Cracker Barrel, I believe, and it fits perfectly into the treat holder. So I thought that was super cute. Another thing that you could do is I've got some pumpkin spice Werther's candies. Of course, this bag is really big, so I'm telling you, I just opened this and I've only taken one out of it so far. But look and see. It's going to take the entire bag. I mean, this is a really good sized bag. And then I had also got, well, it may not take all of them. I bet I could get them all in there if I settle it just a little bit. I had also found a bag of Tootsie Roll Harvest Chews. And this is an 11.5 ounce bag, and I was able to fit this whole bag into that yesterday. So it will definitely hold a lot of candy. This is a really, really good bag for gift giving, for treats. You could certainly put a few different kinds of treats in there if you wanted. Maybe you want to do a little bag with some lollipops and some assorted candies or whatever, right? So you can put all kinds of things in this treat holder. It is a perfect size. Okay, friends, I am going to put these little sequins on, and I'm going to turn my candy out, so there we go. And I'll put one of these here, and then one here, and you notice that I let them dry. The color is not rubbing off onto my hands. That's a good thing. It means that you can color them and not have to worry about that. I think I picked the adhesive off of that though. There we go. And beautiful. All right, there we go. So I would put these in a bag. I wouldn't necessarily leave them just piled into the bag like that. But I would get a little clear bag and put them in. We have some 6x8 cello bags. Let me see if I have one of those. I bet I do. I do. Actually, I have this. Now, forgive me if this is retired. Honestly, I can't recall if we have these in there or not. I don't think that we do. But at one point, we had these little bags in the catalog. And we do still have the 6x8 ones. So you could use that and then cut it down a little bit. But we'll go ahead and do this one. And let me set these aside so I don't get them messed up. And then I'll just put a handful in there. I think that's plenty. And then I can tie the bag shut. And let me make sure I can put it in the box here, or the bag rather. There we go. And we'll tie the bag shut. Now this one's just a little bit shorter than the candy corn bag. So, you know, you might have to hold it up just a little bit to get the ribbon around it. But then get the ribbon around and tie it and make a bow. And pull that out. There we go. Just like that. Super cute. And if you haven't tried these pumpkin spice Werther's Originals, oh my goodness. Those of you who follow me know that I love all things pumpkin, and these things are spectacular. I love them. All right, there we go. We've got our super cute little treat bag. Let me get that inside there, and it is good to go. There we go. All right. Very cute. All right, friends, that is day 2 of the 13 days of Halloween treats. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this project, and will be sure to come back tomorrow right here on my YouTube channel. Be sure to share my video and bring your friends. We're going to have a great time, and I have another super fun and fabulous project to share with you. So be sure to come back 8 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and have one of these since I've got them out, and I will see you guys later. Until next time, my friends, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye for now.